Hello everyone. Today we are going to see about reproduction in animals. Here are some of the examples of mammals with their young ones. As you can see, here is a lion with its cub. Here is a sheep with its lamb, goat and a kid, a mare and cloth. And on the side, you can see a beautiful woman with her cute little baby in her hand. So, what do you think these are all about? How are the young ones formed from an adult? Yes, as you all guessed, the answer is through reproduction. So, what is reproduction all about? It is the process by which a parent or two parents give birth to their young one of their own species. The types of reproduction includes sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. What is sexual reproduction? It involves two parents. It is observed in multicellular or macroscopic organisms. Example are we human beings, the animals we see, cow, cat, dog, whatever may be. Asexual reproduction. It involves only one parent. It is observed in unicellular organisms and also called as microorganisms. Example is amoeba. We can't see amoeba through our naked eyes. As it is clearly mentioned here, they are for microorganisms. So, how do you think with the involvement of only one parent alone, the reproduction is possible? Okay, now let me quickly tell you about the binary fission found in amoeba. This is the structure of an amoeba. To be more specific, amoeba has no particular structure. It is irregular in its shape. You can easily draw an amoeba with your free hand. All you need to do is about drawing a nucleus within it. This amoeba, now the nucleus splits into two. It just starts dividing into two. So, when the nucleus starts dividing, the amoeba as a whole now starts to divide. After the complete division, two new daughter nuclei are formed with each nucleus present in them. So basically, this is a fission process. Fission is nothing but splitting up of one cell into two cells. So one is divided into two, and hence as a result, two amoebas are reproduced by asexual reproduction. There is also another kind of asexual reproduction called as budding. This budding is seen in seawater plant called as hydra. So what is in hydra? This is an hydra. It is found in oceans, rivers or ponds, basically in any kind of water body system. So this hydra starts to grow a tiny bump. This bump then develops tentacles. Then it develops and it grows in its parent, and finally it gets detached and forms a separate hydra. This is known as budding. Similar to a bud is formed in a tree. Here the hydra itself is formed as a bud in the parent hydra, and then it detaches itself, forming a new hydra. So here only one parent is involved, and this is another kind of asexual reproduction. Now, I hope you all are clear about what is asexual reproduction. It is all about involving only one parent. Okay. Now let's move on to the other kind mentioned earlier, which is sexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, there are always two parents involved. Now, I am giving an example of human reproduction. In human reproduction, two gametes are involved. Gametes is nothing but a female egg and a male sperm. These both combine together and forms a zygote. This process is called as fertilization, and this zygote develops into an embryo, and that embryo develops into a fetus, which then is given birth as a child. So sexual reproduction involves two parents, which gives us two gametes, and the fertilization of two gametes results in the production of an embryo which develops into a child. Now, let's see this process in detail. Before seeing that, we are supposed to know about the male and female reproductive organs. This is a male reproductive organ. As you can see, a male reproductive organ consists of a pair of testes. This ball-like structure are called as testes. It consists of two sperm ducts. This is the sperm duct, which contains the sperm, also called as the male gamete. It consists of a penis. This is the penis, through which the sperm comes out during the process of intercourse. Here is the sperm structure. You can see a sperm has three main structures: a tail, the middle piece containing the mitochondrion, and here is the head. The tail helps in swimming, and the head penetrates through the female egg. So this is all about a male reproductive organ. Now, female reproductive organ. This is a female reproductive organ. Here, the female reproductive organ consists of pair of ovaries. This and this is the ovaries. This ovaries produces ova, called as ovum, or also known as eggs or female gametes. So this is a human ovum. It consists of a nucleus. Basically, it consists of a cell. Within a cell, there is the nucleus. Here, you have seen the sperm. This sperm, that is, the head of this sperm, penetrates into this ovum's or this egg's nucleus. So, the female reproductive organ, I said, it consists of ovaries. It consists of oviduct. This is the oviduct, and here is the uterus. So, let's step into how babies are formed. It involves various processes. The first and the foremost step is the fertilization. As I said, the sperm from the male has to fuse with the ovum of a female, which gives us the zygote. See, this is the female egg, also called as the ovum. This is the cell of an ovum. Here is the nucleus. During the intercourse process, sperm is released from the male reproductive organ, and it travels and it penetrates into the female ovum. Thereby, the process of fusion of the sperm into a female gamete is called as fertilization. They fuse together to form a zygote. As you can see here, these are the small bubble-like structure, the small cells which develops into a formation of an embryo. So here I have depicted the complete process in a form of a flow chart. First, the fertilization takes place. After fertilization, zygote is formed. This zygote divides repeatedly, forming a ball of cells, which then develops into an embryo. This embryo attaches itself to the wall of a uterus. Then it fixes itself in the uterus and it starts developing. The embryo, as time goes, it develops the body parts such as the legs, hands, nails, everything, and it is called as fetus. Now, the fetus, on complete development in due course of time in the womb of a mother, develops into a child, and after a period of 10 months, it is fully formed, developed into a child, and thereby a mother gives birth to her child. See, this is the whole process depicted in form of a picture. As I said, this is a zygote dividing itself repeatedly, forming ball of cells. This zygote attaches itself to the uterus wall and an embryo is developed. The zygote formation and development of an embryo from the zygote is depicted here. As you can see, this is the ovary. It produces the female gamete and the male sperm infuses it. Here, the zygote is formed. The zygote develops. It starts dividing. Cell division takes place. Cell divides. It forms a cluster. Embryo is formed. The formed embryo attaches itself to the wall of uterus. Here, the embryo attaches itself to the wall of uterus and embryo starts developing. Thereby, the uterus holds the baby till it is given birth. This is all about how a baby is formed within the uterus of a female body. Interesting, right? So, here is the beautiful picture of an unborn child present within the uterus of a mother. See how cute it is. It just occupies that small space with all his tiny legs and hands. And as you can see, this is the fallopian tube which connects the body of the child with the body of the mother. This is the uterus. Now, we have seen earlier, that is, it is the process of fertilization which gives rise to zygote and thereby the formation of child takes place. Now, as you saw in the earlier step, for human beings, the fertilization takes place within the female human body. It takes place inside the female body. So, it is known as internal fertilization. The process in which fertilization happens within the body of a female is called as internal fertilization. There are also another kind of fertilization called as external fertilization. In external fertilization, the fertilization takes place outside of the female body. See, here is the cluster of frog cells. The external fertilization is often seen in animals such as frogs. What happens? It is an interesting process. The female frog, it lays its eggs on top of the water bodies such as rivers or lakes, and then it moves off. They are not hard like that of a egg, like the egg of hen or something. They are not covered by any kind of shell. They are free. They are clusters. They just move in the water bodies. Now, when a male frog imbibes its male gametes, they combine. As the water moves, the sperm from the male frog combines in the water body itself. That is, the female lays its eggs and goes off. The male lays its gametes and goes off. The both combine together externally and tadpoles are being formed. So this is the kind of fertilization, the external fertilization seen in frog. So fertilization are of two types, internal and external. Now, there is another interesting fact to be known. Using this external fertilization, medical industry has created a revolution in that, called as in vitro fertilization. I know few of you would be aware of test tube babies. Suppose due to various conditions, due to our climatic changes, pollution, etc., nowadays females become less in immune power. Thereby, they faces many kind of health issues. So, if a male reproductive organ, that is the uterus, cannot bear the baby, if suppose the uterus becomes very weak and they can't bear the baby, or if there is any problem in the production of ovum by the ovaries, then there is no need to worry about how the reproduction takes place. As I said, here comes an interesting fact. That is, a sperm is taken from a male reproductive organ and an egg is taken from another female reproductive organ. They both are combined in a test tube and external fertilization takes place. Once a zygote is formed and seeing some kind of situation, it is fitted into a strong uterus. That is, it is fitted into an healthy uterus under which it can grow into an embryo, thereby forming a fetus, and a child is given birth. So how exciting it is using a process of external fertilization in internal fertilization, a new methodology, completely a revolutionized method is being created. This is all about in vitro fertilization. Here, I would like to add an interesting point. We all know Mahabharata, the great epic of our Indian mythology. So, in Mahabharata, we know Kauravas, 100 in numbers. It is said that Kauravas are formed in pots and then the babies are taken out from the pots. So, it is believed that our scriptures, they convey strong meaning. In vitro fertilization is similar in aspect with the kind of story we are hearing in our mythological characters in our epic. So, as an Indian citizen, we should feel proud about our mythology, our epics as well. Few may consider it as a mythology, few may consider it as an epic. It is according to their own will and wish. But remember, whatever we are studying, the science is basically all about what the Indian culture is. Okay, that's history, that's something different. Now let's come back to the scientific topic again. It's just a small interview for you guys. So we just saw the historical aspect between the in vitro fertilization and the Mahabharata. So now, birds such as hen, crow, they lay eggs, right? So what's the difference between them and us? It's basically we are oviparous, they are viviparous. Oviparous in the sense they give birth to young ones, and viviparous, they just lay eggs from which the young ones are born or hatched. They come from egg. Here, there is no need of an egg. Human beings and birds are the typical example for this classification. Now, let's peep into another most important topic, metamorphosis. What is metamorphosis? It is the transformation of larva to an adult. This kind of process is seen in butterflies and frogs. That is, an adult frog lays its egg. As I said, external fertilization takes place. You see, you remember here? Right. This external fertilization takes place and they transfer into a tadpole, early tadpole. This tadpole is referred to as larva. Okay. So this larva then changes to a late tadpole. This tadpole then grows into an adult frog. As you can see here, there is a complete contrast between its younger version and its elder version. You all remember the butterfly, right? From its cocoon, from cat cocoon to caterpillar to a butterfly, there is a complete vast difference. This process is termed as metamorphosis. So it's all about the reproduction in animals. To quickly summarize, we saw what is reproduction, their types, sexual and asexual reproduction, male and female reproductive organs in human beings, fertilization, zygote formation, embryo development, fetus, and childbirth. We also saw types of fertilization, which is internal fertilization and external fertilization. And using external fertilization, a special kind called in vitro fertilization, test tube babies, are developed in our medical field. We saw about viviparous and oviparous animals and metamorphosis in frog. So that's all about reproduction in animals, and thank you.